Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to BGO Traders. My name is Taryn, and with me today I have a very special guest. This is Pleasant Kenobi. How you doing, man?
Hello, man. I'm good. How are you today?
Doing all right. Doing all right.
Pretty early in your neck of woods, yeah?
It's like 6:30 right now in the morning.
Yeah, it's 11:45 over here, so yeah, it's lunchtime.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, a 6-hour difference. So it's very difficult to get an interview with you, man. These big time differences. So I got to get up, you know, before the, what is it, the rooster crows or whatever that old line is.
Yeah, the cockerel cawing. I don't know. It's an American. Is it an American thing? Is it an English thing? I don't even know.
I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to bring you on the channel for a quick interview because we've been doing a bunch of different content creators on the channel, and you were one of them I definitely wanted to get on. Just took a long time because of the time difference and all that kind of stuff, which is fine. But with the first question, as with all of our guests, I start with the first question, which is, how did you get into Magic the Gathering?
So I've been playing since I was really quite young, so like around the age of like, I don't know, 7, 8 perhaps, so 22 years ago, a kid who lived on my estate had a load of Magic cards, like Elastic Banded on a shelf, when I was around his house playing probably N64 or even a bit earlier than that. And I was like, oh, what are those? Oh, the Magic cards. And then he sort of taught me how to play. And this is like, I don't remember the exact time, but this is around the time that the Urza's Saga, Urza's Block was around, so whatever year that was, because they all have the hammers and the cogs and stuff. And
right.
He was telling me about Denizen of the Deep, like an 11/11 for 10 mana, and all this sort of stuff. And then that just went on from there. Then in college, or what you guys call like, what do you guys call it? Because college for us is actually after school before uni. So either way, I wasn't 18 yet, so because we can't go to pubs, we would just sit at my friend's house, have a few beers, and play big multiplayer games. And
right.
I would win a lot because I had Umazala's Jitte, and even at Sorcery Speak, I didn't know how to use it properly. It's still a very good Magic card.
Right.
And then I started getting those guys to come to events with me around Eventide blocks. So I was like, oh guys, let's go to this store and play real people and play for prizes.
Right.
And then they weren't as into it. I kept doing it, made a lot of friends through it. And then, yeah, let's go on from there. GPs and making videos, and here we are.
Yeah, I've seen you at a few GPs recently. How's that been?
Oh, I love it. GPs are like even my birthday, because this year was my birthday at GP London. But yeah, they're better than birthdays and almost as good as Christmas. Just less food than Christmas, I guess. I love GPs. I see friends I don't see for like months and months at a time.
Yeah.
Now I get like, I guess, fans or viewers coming up,
right.
so that's really cool. I spell slung with Channel Fireball and the pros and the other content creators this London as well,
Awesome.
and the GP before. So yeah, it's cool to meet people. I love playing Chaos Drafts. Get to play loads of Legacy, which you don't really get to play in paper very much
right.
outside of GPs. I was on the game show, so if you guys want to check out the Windmill Slam game show on Channel Fireball's channel, I was on there. I lost. Riley Knight knows more about Magic than I do, which is a surprise considering he's a commentator. But no, I love GPs. They're like my favourite part of Magic, I think.
That's awesome.
Other than making videos, obviously.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I went to GP Memphis, I guess a couple months ago, and did like their spell sling thing, and then also did the bounty like draft or whatever.
Yeah.
That was super fun.
Yeah.
I like.
Well, go on.
Well, you go ahead first.
I was just gonna say, like, I even. I shouldn't say this because it sounds like bragging. I won some games. I was like, well, I'm just going to give you the tickets anyway.
Yeah.
They're no good to me. Here you go, buddy.
Right. Yeah, that's
sweet.
That's exactly what I did. Like, I kept beating people, and I was like, oh, I keep winning. I'm just okay. You're just going to get this because I'm a nice person.
Well, I only won after I lost my first round. I lost my first round to a guy whose deck was definitely better than mine.
Right.
And then obviously when you're 0-1, you play decks that are more maybe even keel with yours.
Right.
But no, Bounty was awesome. I sat next to. I had Nissa cosplay on my left. I had Atlas Crafts, the big Khan cosplay on my right. He was making like a 4-color monstrosity, and I was like, "Come on, mate, go bigger, go bigger. You can fit that 5th color in. Yeah. Splash for that double black Phyrexian Scriptures. You can do it." And he did it in the end. He ignored me, which is probably the best bet.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I loved it. The Bounty was wicked.
Nice. So jumping back, I guess, to getting into Magic. What was like the format you got started in?
Just casual tabletop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5-player games that last 3 hours. No one attacking each other because of the politics. Someone saying, "Oh, I'll buy you a burger at KFC if you don't attack me for this combat step," and then all dying to it. There's a friend of mine called Clappy who he used to play like it wasn't called Prize Unicorn at the time. It was Honden of Life's Raw. It's a lure effect. So he'd cast out one of his creatures, attack with everything. Everyone have to block the one creature and he'd die to all his elves and green creatures. And
nice.
and that was how most games ended, either that or with me with a dude suited up with a Jitte. So yeah, it's just casual stuff really, not really a real format. And then I started playing Limited, then discovered Standard after Limited because I did some drafts and some sealed things. And I was like, oh, you should try some Constructed. And went from there really.
Yeah. So I guess what's like your favorite format for now? Is it just Modern?
So not really modern at the moment. I feel modern, as much as modern is better for brewing in and making silly videos in, I think, because well, a lot of people play it and it's very interesting and people like to see that content. I prefer Legacy. I think Legacy games are just more interactive. So I know the problem is the price and the reserve list and yada yada yada. But like, you don't have just decks just going off and killing you on turn 3 or 4 without interaction usually. You've got decks that are playing Cabal Therapies and Thoughtseizers to interact. You've got Force of Will that polices the format. You've got Thalias and Chalice of the Voids on one. Like all this stuff that makes the format really intricate and interesting. Where Modern, I think, is a race just to kill your opponent and not interact. Which is kind of frustrating, especially if you want to play a derpy deck and then you just die on turn 4 before you've assembled your combo. So I love Modern. I love it a lot. But Legacy is like... It's just something else. It's like...
Wasn't it like was it GP Birmingham earlier where we had that mono red prison deck win? The GP, I don't know if it's Birmingham. Like over the weekend.
Yes. So it was Birmingham. Sorry, I keep referring to it as London. London was before. So Birmingham was dual format. It was standard and Legacy. The winner was a Scottish dude called Gary. Apparently he's like a pillar of the community. Like he drives out to pick people up for PPTQs. He has like 7 or 8 or even more decks than that and lends them out. Apparently the guy is really cool. Yeah, and he won with Mono Red Prison. So Charleston won against Delver was pretty good. They can't really beat that. They played 4 Khan of Scion of Urza. And then I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the Vehicles deck, or the red-black aggro deck that won the standard one, also played Khan, I think, in some number, 3 or 4. So there's 2 GPs in the same weekend where Khan was like a 4 in the winning deck. Might suggest the card's a bit too good, but who knows. But yeah, that was Legacy. I didn't play the main event though, because my most practice with D&T and I feel the deck's not positioned well at the moment. So I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to do spell slinging, bounty events, the game show, drink on my birthday, play Legacy side events. And yeah, I loved it.
That's awesome. Yeah. So for me, like, just a little sidebar on Karn Sign of Urza. Like, there was someone on Twitter who was like, do you think Karn will get banned? And I was like, I'll say this. He was in Standard and Legacy in the same weekend. So I don't know what to tell you.
It's a problem, is it? Because so I've got a friend who is very, very tangentially into Magic, and he recently bought a box of Dominaria, opened it and got a Karn. And he's saying to me, shall I sell it now? And I'm like, well, actually, it has room to go up in price because it's being played everywhere. And he's like, oh, cool, I'll sit on it. I'm like, but however, Wizards do like to ban standard cards. So if Khan gets the ban hammer in standard, obviously his price will drop. So I can't tell this guy... It's like a mystery, like a crystal ball. Because if Khan does start showing up in every deck, and we don't know what the core set will give us, whether it'll give us more support for this sort of archetype... Yeah, I mean, we're going to 2-colour blocks with Ravnica and stuff after the core set, and Khan can be played in all these multi-coloured decks with hybrid mana costs because he's 4 mana and colourless. So maybe he is too good. I don't know if they will ban. They're probably scared to ban, but they have done before. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think for sure, like, I think they're probably going to wait till rotation happens, like in September, that block, and then once rotation happens, after all the Kaladesh stuff goes out, all the good like artifact stuff goes out. They'll probably evaluate it then and be like, okay, is this too good to ban or whatever.
Well, as long as he doesn't show up. I mean, how many standard GPs do we have before them? Even the Pro Tour's not standard, so he's not going to dominate anything and be oppressive like Core Blade or Smuggler's Copter or anything like that was. So he probably won't get banned in this time, but he's definitely a card that could be on a watch list because he's just lurking like some sort of like standard predator to just be in every single deck. Because look, if aggro are playing him and mid-range start playing him and then control starts playing him, then you've just got another Smuggler's Copter. And Smuggler's Copter was banned because it was ubiquitous and it was in every deck and it was just too good and because it's colourless.
Exactly. And I mean, Walking Ballista basically took Smuggler's Copter's spot now.
But I mean, that's the other argument, though. So we're saying this. I guess Walking Ballista never got banned, and Walking Ballista was still playing a lot of decks. But then Walking Ballista wasn't played in aggro, was it? The red decks weren't playing it, or were they? Did Hazoret Red play
I don't believe...
Ballista?
I think they play it maybe now, but they weren't playing it for a while.
Yeah. You play it alongside Khan now, because it makes the constructs better. So.
Whatever.
But so I'm not saying he will be banned. That's not what I'm saying. Anyone watching this video and getting in the comment section.
For sure, yeah.
He won't be banned, but I'm saying like he has that potential because he is really good. Good enough to shop in Legacy top 8s literally the weekend after he's released. That's something. That's something. Crazy. Definitely.
So moving on to I guess like sets and that kind of stuff in Magic the Gathering. Favorite set you have so far?
It's so hard. It's so hard. If I had to draft tomorrow, I'd choose Modern Masters 1 because it's like the greatest hits of all of Magic. I have soft spots for like the first Ravnica block because that's when I was playing a lot of kitchen table Magic. But like, yeah, that's probably my 2 answers. Like the original Ravnica block sort of summarizes what it was like as me growing up and Magic growing up alongside me. But I have a soft spot for like Portal and Urza Block because I remember the cards when I was a kid. But Ravnica was when I was like, oh yeah, I can go to events perhaps and start to think about. And I heard of my first combo deck. I think it was Dragonstorm and Extended or something. I was like, there's a deck that like costs 10 dragons in one turn. No, what was it? 4 Begarden Hellkites and kills them. Like, oh, this is wicked. So I felt like I was growing up with Magic then, or, which is a cop-out, is Modern Masters 1 because it's the sweetest, like, limited environment outside of Cube.
Right.
Which is another favourite format of mine. We talk about formats. Cube. Legacy is my favourite constructed, and then Cube. I love cubing because it's just all the best cards.
Nice, nice. My answer as far as favorite set, like, jumps around a ton. I feel like right now it's probably, like, people are probably going to hate me when I say this, but I really liked, like, Mirrodin Besiege, New Phyrexia Standard. Like, those sets. And just because how interesting and unique New Phyrexia was. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, even outside of Standard, I love that block because it was so different. Like, we didn't have like body horror sci-fi like wars at that point.
Right.
We had obviously the bits with like the Urza Saga's wars with the skyships and stuff, but we had like, you know, proper body horror, like Geiger-esque sort of body horror coming back from the Phyrexians, but taking centre stage. That trailer for New Phyrexia, you can find it on YouTube, where it's like the Phyrexians talking about like infecting Khan and stuff. It was so unique, and then that's why I was so disappointed with Battle for Zendikar, because I was like, okay, we're going back to a plane that's been decimated by Eldrazi, and we can have all this flavourful cool stuff. Like, I was thinking post-apocalyptic, like the humans are living in the shadows of these giant titans that stroll the countryside and that sort of thing. They're like, oh no, the flavour for this one is just a big war. I'm like, well, we've had wars before. Can we not have something else? Like, no, it's a war. And that's kind of what I'm scared about with Return to Ravnica, where we're coming to the culmination, the big plot point. And if it's just a big battle, a big war on Ravnica, that's kind of lame because we've had big wars.
A war in Ravnica in autumn, by the way, just so you know, this season.
Yeah. But I mean, you said like sort of like lampooning it a bit, but I like that. I think Ravnica is probably one of the sets where we have the most amount of room to go back and explore new things. I just hope it doesn't turn into one big force versus another big force. I want to see an invasion. If the Phyrexians invade Ravnica, I will lose my proverbial mind, and that's kind of what we'll talk about that in a minute. I guess we'll talk about Ravnica, but that's where I hope that's going.
Oh, absolutely. And last question, as far as like kind of Magic related, is favorite archetype. Like, what's your favorite archetype to play?
Oh, so for people who don't know, so people who watch this who know me will know what I'm going to say. People who don't know, I play a lot of white weenie. So I like aggressive strategies, but not like your red burn spells. I like creatures that tell your opponents they're not allowed to play as much magic as you are. So cards like Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, Leonin Arbiter. Cards that stop them from cracking their fetches, stop them from casting their spells, stop Storm from going off, and keep players honest and play on a very even keel. And then second to that is sort of like value mid-range. So Restoration Angel on a Thragtusk, or like a Collected Company into Blade Splicer plus Flicker Wisp. So I can generate value, I can turn creatures sideways and have a nice interactive game of Magic with my opponent where they can't play as much Magic as I can. Then that's my thing. That's my. But I play a lot. I play everything. I played Doomsday on stream on Monday. I don't know if you saw that. That was a hot mess, but. I'll play anything, but they're my favourites. I got you. What do you play? Like, what? I've never really asked you. What is your archetype of choice? Is it control?
So I guess from a competitive standpoint, like control is like where it's at for me because I really love control decks right now. I always love control decks in standard most of the time, but as far as like a guilty pleasure archetype, dude, like Mill is where it's at for me always.
I found found appreciation for Mill recently, and I killed Jolt with a Hedron Crab the other. No, I killed him with Mountain Age, but I killed the other two guys with Hedron Crab, and then in my latest video, I am playing Fenax with like walls that'll come out next week, and in one of the games, I tap an Emrakul to mill my opponent for 15 and kill him. Like, the Emrakul doesn't even need to attack, it's just tapping.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a newfound appreciation for Mill lately.
Oh, man.
I played against a variety streamer called Call of Cthulhu. He plays a lot of stuff and a bit of Arena at Birmingham. He's a lovely guy. You guys check him out on Twitch as well. He plays loads of stuff, video games as well as Magic. And he absolutely wrecked me with Mill. I was playing Death and Taxes, I got him to 1 life, he just Crypt Incursioned and gained like 39 life, and I was like, oh.
That's like it. Yeah. That's a good game. You tried.
So, did you start with Mill? Was that where you started?
So in casual Magic, I really got into like when I started, it was like around like the Kamigawa block, so there really wasn't Mill really there. But when I got into like college, that's when like Zendikar and all that kind of stuff, Worldwake, that kind of stuff was out. So like
so Hedron Crab,
you had Archive Trap, you had Traumatized come out like in the core set right after that, and so I had like this amazing Mill deck I would play with like 6 other people, or I would do that, or also what was the other deck archetype I would play? I think just with the standard control deck that was in that list as well. The problem though within that particular standard format was that like if they had an Eldrazi like in their board or in their sideboard and it just hit the graveyard, it just immediately reshuffled them, which was the worst. But you had surgical extraction too, so it's like you kind of had a way to get rid of it, but it was just man, it's just Mill was just so much fun for me back in college.
So you were the Mill player at FNM, were you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, like a lot of people, even like in
no one sits with you, no one talks to you.
they all hate me. Like there's even some limited environments where like Mill really works too, like really strangely. Yeah. And it's like I'll try and like force that archetype if I can if I'm in draft.
Well, like Return to Ravnica, Dimir have always been Mill. So like talking about casual and talking about my favourite set with the original Ravnica, the first like legendary creature that I kind of fell in love with, there was two. There was Niv Mizzet, who was the Izzet one who taps to ping people and you can combo off with, and there was Zadek, Lord of Secrets. No one knows this card because it doesn't say any play in any format. Right. He's a 5/5 flyer. He's a vampire. When he attacks, you prevent the damage, and then they mill that many cards, and you put that many counters on him. So when he hits them, they mill for 5, you put 5 counters on him, becomes a 10/10. Next time you hit for 10, mill for 10, put 10 counters, 20/20. Right. So this guy's a 20/20, you can't lose. And then I discovered what Path to Exile does, and it's like, oh, okay, you can lose. You can lose very hard to premium removal. Yeah. But yeah, so mill was a big thing in Ravnica, so we'll probably see that in the next Ravnica set.
I hope so.
Tends to mill. Like, you had Consumer Aberration, and you had
Dimir, was it Guildgate?
Mind Funeral, Glimpse of...
You had the not the Guildgate, but the guy that was just a one...
The Guildmage.
Guildmage, yeah.
That's it, yeah. All the Dimir cards, like Glimpse the Unthinkable was one of the most efficient mill cards of all time, right? 2 mana, 10 mil, and that's so Dimir are the mill guys, so... Maybe we'll see a decent Zadek card next time around, and then you can be like, oh, I can play Mill in Standard.
That'd be amazing. It'd be like a kid in a candy shop.
all your viewers now are going to put in the comment section, you have to play Mill if they release even a semi-competitive Mill card.
Sure, absolutely. Well, it's like every single standard format, whenever a new set comes out, I get the comments, they're like, you need to make a new Mill deck. I'm like, it's not there yet. Just give it some time.
But actually, come to think of it, so when Ravnica comes out, we lose Kaladesh. Is that correct? And we keep Amonkhet.
Is
that right?
No, we lose Amonkhet too.
Oh, okay, same. Because there's that blue card that mills you for how much you've been milled that turn. What's it called?
Yeah, Frank Sanity.
Yeah, so that one's sweet if you got that, plus a couple of like the Mind Funeral effects.
Well, there's Mind Funeral. Like right now in Standard, you have Frank Sanity, and then you have like that fish thing that like mills half their deck, and it's like if you get an attack with that on the board, it's like you just win, but you have to attack with like a 7 mana 5/5. You know, so it's like.
So it sounds like a typical mill deck in Standard where you have to jump through so many hoops it's no longer competitive.
I built a deck with that that was a Godfarrow's Gift like shell with that coming out, and it worked a little bit, but it was just like it was so janky. Like I don't know, it's not there yet.
I guess milling them enables Godfarrow's Gift a little bit because you can take that stuff in their bin with Godfarrow's, can't you? Or was it just yours?
Just yours.
Oh, so. Shows how much Standard I played in the last 6 to 12 months.
You're fine.
I was just going to say as well, you said you like to play Control. Did you ever play Control when Sphinx's Rev was in Standard?
Oh, yeah. Back in, like, the dark days of Return to Ravnica.
Oh, not dark days. That's like one of my favourite Standard decks was Esper or Blue-White Control. And in the sideboard, you'd play a Jace Memory Adept.
Yeah.
And you'd side it in against other control decks. So if you can land it with Counter Magic, then you start milling them for 10 and they don't win. Oh, those are the days. Yeah, because
Memory Adept is just like a 0 ability. It's like mill 10 for nothing. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. So and it's such a fast clock against control as well. Because you're normally 20 cards in, so you got 4 turns and they're dead.
I only say it's like the dark days because it's like in the meta at the local game store I was playing it at the time. It was like either everyone played like this weird janky combo deck with like heroic like stuff like that. Not heroic. What was it called?
Oh no, heroic was a deck in that format. There was a heroic deck.
I think it was heroic. I'm trying to think of it, if it was. No. Heroic is way after in Theros block. I'm trying to think of whatever.
No. Sphinx's Rev was in Standard with Theros block because your
right.
That's finisher was Elspeth.
Right. That's right. Sorry. No.
Yeah, so Heroic was a thing.
Right. You're right. Yeah, they played that, or they played the blue-white control list, and like it was just like every other person was just fighting those two lists. But control was just like detention sphere and have all that kind of stuff. It just wasn't a fun time.
You're not wrong to call it the dark days because like the top tier decks were blue-white control, mono black devotion, and mono blue devotion.
Right.
And that was kind of it. They had other decks, and like Heroic came in later, I think, at the very end of that Standard season. But people hated it. People look back on it and say, "Oh, I was sick of seeing like everyone playing 4 Mutavaults, and I was sick of Desecration Demon, I was sick of Thassa, and all these cards." And I was like, "I love that format. I loved it, absolutely loved it." But Far and Away is a really weird fringe card that I used to play in my control list. Everyone was like, "Oh, it's bad," and then you'd bounce their monstrous Fleetmane line and make them sack their Caryatid. And then then next time they'd play it, and then you just Supreme Verdict them like, oh, this is control. So yeah. So hopefully we're returning to Ravnica now. I was hoping Amonkhet would have a Sphinx's Rev reprint because Sphinx is in Egyptian mythology.
Right.
Hopefully now we'll see the Azorius gets Sphinx's Rev again, and then that's me back in. Because at the moment, the new blue-white control list with Teferi and Paul from Tomorrow and all that sort of stuff,
right.
I'm interested in playing that. But if they re-put in Sphinx's Rev, that's it, I'm in.
Yeah,
Teferi, Sphinx's Rev, sounds sweet.
I mean, we got close with Azor, like this close, you know, whenever he came out. In
He's okay. I play him on Arena. I don't know if I play him in a standard league.
No, I don't think he's good enough for standard. But I mean, like he's Sphinx's Rev, like, you know, on a creature, so it's just, you know.
Yeah, and Pull from Tomorrow is a good like draw spell. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But
it's just that life gain with Sphinx's Rev was just so good. Like basically, you would just be down and then just do Sphinx's Rev for like 5 and just be like, I'm back in the game.
One of my favorite matchups in that format was when you play against the Burn deck at the time, because the Burn deck was quite good as well.
Right.
Because you had Eidolon and you had Skullcrack and you had Boros Charm, and like there'd be a tension where I've got to cast this Rev or die, but I want to make sure he doesn't Skullcrack me. So you have to get to the point where you're having a negate as well. But if there's an Eidolon in play, that's 2 triggers, and I don't know It was an interesting match. It was fun, which is rare to say when you're playing against Burn, right? That's not the common thing to say.
Right. So a lot of people would come to your YouTube channel for the humor. What was it that made you make your content more comedy focused?
So basically, I started out with YouTube like making video game content like most people do, and finding out that it's actually a very hard niche to break into and no one's watching it, which is fine. Like I was enjoying doing it, but I wasn't getting very many viewers. And then I just on the cuff I started making Magic content with a couple of friends of mine, getting them on my house, playing some paper Magic and just uploading it and stuff, and cracking boosters and stuff. And then I guess I'm a pretty nonsensical person on the whole. So like even the booster cracking, I was shouting about sexual innuendos and stuff, and people quite liked that. And then I think it was the first Mono Red Tron video where the deck was stupid. We joked about it all the way back from a GP. I built it, and I remember sending a screenshot of me Bane firing someone for 48 to like one of my group chats, and they were like, "This is amazing." I was like, "Yeah, I think I'm going to make a video out of it and share it with the world." And then as I was making it, I got basically Magic content at the time, and still is to an extent, is very stuffy. So like even my favourite content creators for the most part, like I'll watch Andrea Mengucci's videos on Channel 5 all day long for Legacy because I like the guy and I like the format, but it's slow, there's long periods of nothing happening, they're not talking about anything else, there's the occasional quip or joke. The best we ever had was LSV just being witty, right? So I was like, you know what, I'm not going to record myself doing it because I've done that a lot already and it started to build some traction, people like it. I'm going to try filming the gameplay, writing a script afterwards, and then just like memeing my way through the video. And people loved it. Loved it. And I was like taking influence from like non-Magic creators, so like iDubbbz and like even like PewDiePie's more like later stuff where he's more self-aware, and like Maxi Mofo and that sort of stuff, and like Zero Punctuation. Do you ever watch Zero Punctuation?
Yes.
The British guy. That's like he's like one of my favourite like video content creators. So that sort of stuff is what influenced me to think, why don't we just do this with Magic? And then it was successful, and I was like, well, okay, I'll just keep doing it with Magic. So successful as I felt it was. And then it's created traction, and I've had an upward lift, and people love it, and it's very different. So I feel like I've carved out a unique niche that was kind of missing from Magic content. And that's kind of where I got to it. So it was kind of like a logical progression. And then like there was a big spike, and I was like, wait, let's get on the spike and ride it like a thing you ride.
No, yeah, for sure. I really love the way you incorporate the humor and the memes. You just like it's kind of like it's like you're watching an MTG video, but it's just a trash meme video. Like
some of them are like some of the decks. Like I did the third Bees deck recently. And I was running out of time. I had to get it out because I was going for the GP. Like, the deck is bad. The gameplay is bad. I can't win anything. I had another version for the deck I should have went with. And so I was like, look, I'm just going to put the video out there, I'm going to make loads of jokes, I'm going to point out how bad it is. I made loads of jokes about how it was just a Ponza list, but I took the good cards out and put Bs in. And people still found it funny, and people were like, yeah, this wasn't that good. And then but sometimes I get an adverse reaction. So I had a league where I played Red, White, Taxes and Legacy, and basically I just had 2 really bad leagues in a row. I don't have time to film anymore, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to put it up, people can laugh at me getting mana screwed, they can laugh at me making wrong decisions. And then I put it up on Reddit, and I got a bit of an adverse reaction for the dude over at Thraben University. We're cool now, but he was like, I feel like you're not really helping us to learn the deck, you're just making jokes. And I was like, it's great because you seem to have got the point of the video but also missed it at the same time. And so I've had a bit of an adverse reaction from the more serious people who want to respect the game. And I'm like, I respect the game, I love this game, like it's my favourite game in the world, but sometimes there is room for us just to muck about and have fun and just enjoy ourselves, right?
Absolutely.
And play decks that aren't good, because there's plenty of bad cards that see no play, you know?
Exactly. For me, it's like And whenever I'm streaming, if I'm running a deck, I'm like, okay, guys, I feel like this deck did really well in testing, but we're live, so anything could happen. I could draw 17 lands in a row and just die. So, and that happens, you know. It's
Like that's one of the great things about Magic is that even the best players can lose to the worst players, or the experienced players can lose to the new players, should I say?
Right.
Because the land base, it's simultaneously the best thing about Magic and the worst thing about Magic.
Yes, exactly.
Because Hearthstone's took it out, but then Hearthstone's like, oh, do you know what we'll do? We'll add more RNG to every other card to even it out, which doesn't make any sense. But it happens, like, and then you make mistakes as well. So when I make mistakes, I try to say, look, guys, mock me for it. Let's have a punt count. Let's in stream. We started chanting the word shame when I have to shame Scoop because I've kept a bad hand and it's fell apart. And it happens. Like I was chatting to Saffron Olive before we did our brew off the other day, and he was saying how he switched to colour in a sealed deck on stream, and then didn't change his lands, so he drew his opening hand and couldn't cast any of his spells.
Oh no!
And I was like, "Yep, I know that feeling because you make mistakes."
Oh, for sure,
and,
for sure.
And that's again, a lot of pro players will put up their best leagues and stuff, but for every league they 5-0, you can guarantee there's at least one other league where they've 2-3'd or 1-4'd, right?
Exactly.
But people then also say, again, I get comments saying, "Oh, you're really bad at Magic." And I've seen comments about Seth and you're really bad at Magic, and I'm like, well, actually, we're not that bad. You just get to see the ugly and the good,
right?
And that's part of the fun of it, right? You're along for the ride to experience the highs and the lows that is Magic.
For sure, yeah. It's like whenever I draft on stream, it's like sometimes like I'll do like really good. I'll do like a 4-1 or 5-0 or 3-0 whatever, and be like, yes, this deck or the deck really did really well. Or I'll do a just standard or whatever and do really well with like a deck that like does nothing really, but for some reason our matches just went really well, But then people think the deck's good, and you're like, I wouldn't recommend buying this deck necessarily. And they're like, no, I bought it now, and you're like, oh no. The best thing is whenever you run a deck that's like in standard that's like not that great, and then someone's like, I bought the deck and did like 5-0 at my local game store. I'm like, yes.
I've still got this opinion that people are trolling me and just taking me for a ride when I made like the first Bees video. Like, the deck is fun and it can beat like certain uninteractive decks, but if they have hand disruption or kill spells, you just die, which is quite a large portion of the format, right? And then people are like, I bought the deck on a 5-0 FNM, and I'm like, is he joking? Are they pulling my leg?
Right.
But more power to them if they manage it. Yeah. So have you ever streamed like a format you've never drafted before? I just got in blind. Have you done that yet?
I just to kind of date this video, the day before I streamed Lorwyn draft.
Oh, you streamed that draft?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So bad, man. I got a 1-2, and the reason I got a 1-2 is because the first person I played scooped immediately. And I was
take it, mark it up on the record.
That's right. No, like I drafted it, and they're like, you should draft like blue black fairies, and I was like, okay, but I'm like seeing all these elves that are really good, and they're like, nah, just draft blue black fairies. I'm like, all right.
There's where you went wrong, right? You listen to chat, because that's the other thing as well. Chat can sometimes be very right, but they can about the same amount of time be very, very wrong.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I've had times when I've been like, oh, listen to chat. I'm like, oh, I immediately regret this decision because I realised that was not the right play. And some people will tell you the wrong play because they think it's funny as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. I also think some people like they'll think of an interaction, and I'm like a step ahead of them and be like, well, if I did that, then this would happen, and they're like, oh, but like there's like a delay in the stream, so there's like a 5 to 10 second delay, and they're like, oh, you're right, but it's like it's too late. It's already happened.
So recently we had the whole controversy around stream sniping, didn't we? And ghosting.
Oh yeah, ghosting.
You see all about that? And people were saying, well, actually, I saw some people like pushing their glass at the nose. Well, actually, streamers get an unfair benefit of having chat help them. I'm like, no, they don't. No, they don't. Have you ever played with 50 people, 100 people backseat driving your games? It will mess you up more than it will benefit you.
Yeah, it's like a handicap. It's awful, man. It's like I feel like I'm the worst
player. Don't say
player.
It's awful. They'll never watch you again.
I'm just saying I'm just saying like from a perspective of like for me it's like I feel like I'm a really competent control player, really competent like maybe mid-range or aggro player, but it's like whenever I'm on stream and I'm talking to like the chat and also kind of managing what OBS is doing because it's really temperamental, and then like also making sure that the stream is like still live, and then like still trying to play a game of Magic where I'm like having to think the entire time. It's like no, there's no way. It's like you're getting like the C+ version of me versus any other day.
Yeah, 100%. The multitasking while streaming is so hard. I don't even understand how people stream. Like I've ended streams with like one game of League of Legends. Like how do you play a real time game that's not turn based, interact with your audience? And it just seems impossible. So more props to people who play like live action stuff, like PUBG or Fortnite, and interact, and because that's impossible. Like, Magic's hard enough, and we have times where we can stop and look. You know,
right.
But yeah, the multitasking kills me. Kills me.
Oh man. Moving on to another question here real quick. Just from the G, we talked about GPs earlier, but let's see. I'm gonna move on to another question. What do you think of Battle Bond, and are you excited for Ravnica? Since those are the two sets kind of coming out soon.
Okay. Yeah.
Big
So
question.
like Battle Bond. So Battle Bond, I'm very hyped for. Like I enjoy playing Magic in like different ways. So like I even enjoyed a bit of Tiny Leaders when that was like the big hyped thing, and Frontier I started brewing for, but never actually played the games of. So like when something comes around that's different, so I two-headed giant set.
Yeah.
But I mean, I hate the fact that when you play two-headed giant at events, I believe it's never best of 3. It's always best of 1, which is frustrating because then you just lose to Mana Screw more. The other bit I just said about a minute ago. But I'm so excited to just play Magic in a different way. So I'm going to Rob, my co-host from my stream, he's coming down. We're going to go to the Battle Bond release next weekend. I've got I should have a Battle Bond video coming up on my channel next week because I'm getting some product from Wizards to open up with some friends and make some decks for. But on top of that, the reprints in this set are insane. There's so much good stuff. You were saying earlier before we started recording that it feels like a master set, doesn't it? But it's a master set with new legacy playable cards in it. Like I'm already brewing around things like what's his name? Is it Pier? Is that his name, the little kid?
Yeah, Pier.
Yeah, the kid that finds Toothy. That combo, Green Suns into Pier, get Toothy. Toothy can pitch to Force of Will, or you can play him, Brainstorm, put 3 counters on him, Crackers him back to hand, draw 5 cards. Like, it's not going to beat the insane combo decks of Legacy, but it seems like a very good mid-range strategy.
Oh, for sure.
And then there's loads of cool new stuff. Like, there's a card that puts counters on enemy creatures and draws cards that's an elf that can play in elves. There's a new Cleric that searches up a 2-mana spell. Oh, is it Cleric, the blue thing? What's it called? Spellseeker. It's a human wizard. It's a 1/1 for 3. It's just like Abrupt Decays. It's just like Manipulate Fates and Food Chain. And then they've got an Academy Rector now that you can sack to find Planeswalkers and put them to play. So I'm going to be streaming putting Nicol Bolas's and Ugins into play and being like, deal with that or die. So I'm hyped. I'm so hyped. For sure. This is what Iconic, this is what M25 should have been. Yeah. I said that was exciting and fun to play. Well, I say that Iconic and M25 were okay to play. Sure. Like, it was just the cost of the packs and what you got in them that was the problem, right?
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of like I don't know. It's like it's crazy how just like there's so many good reprints in Battle Bond right now, and the packs are so much cheaper than Master sets.
Exactly.
And it's just like I don't know. It's just hard to have to.
People need to be wary of the fact that, of course, the set is going to be printed to demand and they're cheap, so the card prices may go quite low. So people are going, oh, I'm going to open up 2 doubling seasons and make all my money back. You might not end up doing that if the card price dips enough. But ultimately, is that even an issue? Sure, that's a good thing, right? Like, just let's drop some of the price on things like True Name Nemesis and doubling seasons, cards that are obnoxiously expensive considering they're not even on the reserve list. And then don't forget the commander stuff, like Bramble Sovereign, is it? The 4-mana 4/4 that copies other people's creatures.
Yeah, I think so.
There's so much. Seaborn Muse has been reprinted. It's insane. I'm so excited. But I'm also fearful that a lot of those cards either aren't going to show up on Modo in general, like the uncommons and the commons for pauper play and stuff, or they're going to show up very rarely in chests and therefore be very expensive, like True Name Nemesis is now. So trying to play with Arena Rector online is going to cost an absolute bomb, I'd imagine. So that's frustrating. I mean, I don't know if you're aware, but Palace Jailer, an uncommon that gets seen playing Legacy, Death and Taxes, didn't show up in chests for like 6 months. I made like 2 videos begging Wizards to print it before GP so I could test with it online. Right. So Wizards aren't the best at managing the online card availability, I don't think.
I guess we'll just see what happens going forward. Maybe just the need of those cards online will be hopefully strong enough that they'll bring them quickly.
but it probably won't be though, because like Legacy, as strong as it is online, isn't their primary focus, and Commander players aren't really making them any money online because they're apart from 1v1 Commander, they're not paying to play Commander, are they? They're just casually playing in their side rooms and stuff. So there's a good chance Wizards are just like, oh, we'll do it when we're ready.
Do you think they'll ever do a one like? Does 1v1 have leagues in Commander online?
Yeah, it has leagues. I mean, it's dying a death. Like Baral's existence really killed it. Yeah. Same with Brawl. The way that Brawl was like popular and then like it fell off a cliff a little bit into popularity because everyone was sick online, at least I was, of playing against Baral. I mean, it's changed now and I haven't looked at the figures, but 1v1 Commander, now Baral is gone, is probably better, but it's I don't know if its popularity is ever going to get back to where it was because people are like, oh, I'm tired of this now. So yeah, there are leagues for 1v1 and some of these cards will definitely see play in 1v1. Right, but I'm just scared of how expensive, like Bramble Sovereigns are mythic. Yeah, Bramble Sovereigns are mythic. So like True Name Nemesis, it's going to be like at the mythic slot or one of the mythic slots in the treasure chest and therefore cost a bomb if it sees any play in other formats and stuff.
Sure. So moving
So
on,
that's a problem.
Right. Moving on from Battle Bond, what do you think about Ravnica? Three sets. I don't know what happened to my fingers there. I'm gonna do 3 sets there.
So this is something that I think I tweeted back to you on Twitter about. So people are getting really. I was going to make a video about this because I'm getting sick of hearing it. People are really annoyed that we're getting 3 sets because we're not in the 3 set block mode anymore. Well, firstly, we're not, but they can still do that. Like that's a thing they can do if it fits like the game, if it fits the storytelling. Sure. Secondly, if you watch the video intently, like I have, like 3 times to check that I'm right here, they say that the first Ravnica set's coming, and the second Ravnica set's coming, and gives us dates. Then they don't tell us when the third Ravnica set is coming. It's coming, but it's not necessarily in sequence. So we can have a core set between them. Right. We could even break for a core set. This is how I would do it. A core set and then like another set where we just jump to see another story, introduce some new characters, have a cliffhanger, and then when they come back for the third set, when the Phyrexians invade or Bolas shows up or the Eldrazi are there, it's more of an exciting thing. So people need to just calm their breasts. They calm their breasts about this whole 3 in a row thing.
No, I think you're definitely right. Like 2 sets of Ravnica, and then have like a set that's like jumping away, and then bring that story into Ravnica. Like go to Phyrexia, and then bring the story from Phyrexia back into Ravnica. That'd be awesome.
Loads of cool stuff like that. They could jump to another set, introduce a hero, show us that Koth isn't dead, or something like that on New Phyrexia, or that he's escaping New Phyrexia and he crash lands on like Ravnica and brings oil with him or something. Or they could just jump away and show us what's happening on Lorwyn, and we could see like what happened after the Nightshade or whatever it was that Una did, and Eventide, whatever it's called. They could show us some like non-Planeswalker action. That'd be nice, because I don't know about everyone else, but I get fatigued by Planeswalker stories, especially the Gatewatch.
Right.
And then they could come back. And what if here's some conjecture. I'm not going to do this, but this is what I would do. You go set 1 of Ravnica, set 2 of Ravnica, just Ravnica stuff, right? Ravnica things, just Ravnica things. Right. And then the buy a box promo for the second one, or some card that they can spoil last, is a story highlight, and it shows a planar gateway opening over the skies of Ravnica, or it shows oil on the boot of a planeswalker, or it shows Koth crashing from the sky saying Thanos is coming, whatever. Right. Like that sort of stuff. And then we just break from it. And that's not told in the stories, and they just literally break from it, go core set, Lorwyn return, or the next instruction of whatever, and then when we come back like 6 months later, and Ravnica's in ruins, or the Phyrexians are in control, or, do you see what I mean? Like, do some cliffhanger, like, cool stuff. Jace is dead, or Jace is missing, and they can have a set called The Search for Jace, like a bit like Star Trek with the Search for Spock. Yeah. Do all these cool sort of story moments, as opposed to, like I said earlier, going back to Battle for Zendikar, they just do, here's a war between Entity 1 and Entity 2. Yeah. You've never seen a war before, because that sort of antagonism of war is kind of boring. Like, Magic could tell stories much wider and more exciting than that, in my opinion. And Ixalan did that. The whole trapping Jace and search for treasure and stuff. Ixalan did really well with that, in my opinion, and so did Amonkhet to an extent. Sorry, rambling, getting very excited about storytelling here.
I think it's super cool. There was a really funny tweet I saw about it. It was like, what if like whenever we get to like Ravnica, it's like when we start to fight Nicol Bolas again, like actually they're all just dreaming and we're still on Zendikar fighting Eldrazi.
Oh god! If they did a shower scene, like story spotlight, like Dallas, like everyone dies, then Jace like wakes up and realizes he's just in the shower dreaming or whatever. Yeah. No, god, that'd be awful. But at the same time, it would be different, I guess. So sure. So perhaps that's the difference. Right. I don't want things to just be different for the sake of being different. I want them to, and they have been doing it. So I want them to continue telling stories that are interesting,
right?
As opposed to big war. It's a problem that video games have, right? Like, because video games need an antagonist, need action. Right. Most games involve combat, and therefore you don't get much of a difference other than bad man does thing, rescue girl, fight war. I mean, and Magic can do more than that because it doesn't need to have that conflict in that sense. Like Battle Bond being a sport is really interesting, for example, or Conspiracy being about political subterfuge, for example. There's loads of cool stuff they can do with the card game because they don't have to have real time action. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how. I mean, this is kind of like a sidebar with video games, but it's like it took like God of War like 4 games to be like, hey, we're kind of like more story driven now. Like they've always been kind of story driven because they've they have a really good story between them, but it's like primarily the first like 3 or 4 games are just straight on just action forever. And this new one is just like just walking around. Well, the first 3 feel like grindhouse cinema. Do you know what I mean? Like they're over the top, they're brutally violent, and they're just silly. Like don't forget, the first one's had mini games where you had to sex people and knock vases off walls, and that's one of the things I feel so funny that it's like absent from the next one, the 4th one. But yeah, they grew up. It kind of hit its like late teen years and realized we can do other stuff. Like we can meditate on what it is to lose a loved one and to and what grief is and how people deal with it differently and stuff. So yeah, it went from being this grindhouse splatterfest to being like a really serious seminal movie, which is weird. Some people complain that that probably shouldn't happen in the same game series.
Yeah.
Like mentioning Yahtzee earlier, Zero Punctuation, he said that he kind of is annoyed that it's not, you know, like balls to the wall, like hyper exciting violence again.
Well, it's kind of like how like Doom kind of reinvented itself a couple years ago, and it's super good and still kind of the same thing, you know, from years ago.
But arguably, Doom did that because we're really on a tangent here, but I'm happy to talk about this. Doom 3 was like really panned. Like looking back on it, I think it had a lot more merit to it than people gave it credit for, but it got panned, right? And then we had a large gap, and Doom was like an old game series that could do with the revamp, kind of like what they did with Wolfenstein recently as well. But God of War, we hadn't had that long. What was it, like 6 years since God of War 3, and it was on a cliffhanger, and they had a set gameplay that still works. So they could have gone back to that. And the argument, I guess, as well, that I was saying before it got released, and now I've played it and I've got it and I'm loving it, I was saying that, does it need to be God of War? This is the thing that the games industry does a lot, is like it goes, you know what, let's make Metal Gear Survive. Instead of making like a new franchise, let's slap a title on it. Doesn't make any sense. And I felt like God of War might have been doing that. Even though something that, like, it's Norse mythology. Sure, they could do a game that is like from the creators of God of War, but it's the Norse mythos version. But actually, the way they used Kratos, I felt was completely admirable and completely merited. But that is a problem the games industry does, right? They just rehash stuff for the sake of it and use the old name.
For sure.
So I think it was There's a tangent in itself.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, sorry. moving on to some more stuff about like maybe YouTube. So you know, you said you kind of got started with making videos more like video game focused on YouTube channels, stuff like that. I guess, and we kind of talked about earlier how you got from that into MTG stuff, and then going from MTG stuff to more like comedy based focused stuff. But what kind of, I guess, was the channel or like the drive to make you to start making YouTube like videos in the first place?
Okay, so it's a really simple answer. Basically, I'm a failed teacher, so my plan through all my education was I'm going to teach kids and make them care about stories and care about English and care about this stuff. And then I started teaching and realised I was bad at it. I'm a bad disciplinarian. I don't really like children if they're not my own, or I'm teaching them in like an official environment. If I can like, you know, joke with them about things that teachers aren't allowed to joke about, it's fine. But if I have to like strictly be like, oh, I couldn't make her swear, I have to be polite, I can't do that, I'm not good at that. So it was an absolute mess, and I dropped out. And then I had like this existential crisis of, I thought I was going to be this grand teacher and like write my novel on the sideline. What do I do now? And then I was like, well, I've always wanted to write, so maybe I could be a journalist. So I started writing for a video game website that still exists called Valetic.com with some friends of mine from uni, and we wrote a lot about games. We got invited to like Eurogamer Expo and stuff, and we got a little bit of traction, but people don't tend to read anymore. And that sounds really horrible to places like Masters of Magic, but people don't read as easily. So I was like, well, we have to start making video content. So the guy who ran the site and myself, we were making video content about games. My early videos, some of them were really bad, but I've left them up for people to see if you want to go back and look at the history of Vince or whatever. And I was making these videos, and they gained a bit more traction than my articles were, and that kind of put me on the path of like, you know what, YouTube and video is the future, for a large extent, until there's a, you know, in a couple of years' time we have the vinyl revolution, but for writing, like, everyone should be reading, you know? And that's what put me down the video path. And at that point, I was a massive fan of Zero Punctuation and like, you know, the memeier, edgier YouTubers and stuff. And that's what then eventually made me think, you know what, let's stop trying to ride a wave that doesn't exist or is too saturated. Let's try and actually be different. And that's where we got to now.
Hey, nice.
It's very weird talking about yourself a lot. I probably do it a lot but don't notice. But then when you get an interview, you're like, oh, I'm rambling about myself again.
Yeah, it's like a whole video of just like, you know, just kind of like boasting about yourself. Hey, I'm pretty awesome, right?
Yeah, like, yeah, listen to me, I make videos, right?
Right, exactly. That's awesome, man. I feel like, I don't know, as far as YouTube videos for me getting started, I started in like the vlog kind of atmosphere, like doing vlog videos in college. They're all privated and no one can ever watch them ever again because they're so cringy. But also, like, I really got into, like, when I was in college doing writing for, like, oneup.com and stuff like that, or writing on that site, and just getting into, like, writing blog stuff like that as well. And then I, like, built my own little blogspot website and did, like podcast content and all that kind of stuff, and, like, got really into it for a while. And then,
so when did you make the jump to Magic?
As far as, like, content?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that was like last year or so. As far as like moving into Magic, the content itself. But yeah, like for a long time, I was really like, I want to do like stuff like you know, like kind of funny, or like how IGN kind of did it, but like more trying to pitch it toward like a more like casual kind of format, because I really liked people like JonTron like a long time ago, and you know, Game Grumps was a big thing for me. So like all my like behind me, I have a bunch of video games and like recording software for all that kind of stuff. I've ever wanted to do that. But yeah, it's like a ton of that's kind of where I got started as far as like making videos for fun, and then kind of pitched that into doing like MTG content. So
did you start wanting to do video game stuff as well? Is that where you were at originally?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I feel like every single MTG like content creator I've talked to like the past couple of weeks have been like, yeah, I started with video game content, but that's hard.
Yeah, it's true. It's 100% true. I mean, it's like making the content itself's not hard, but it's just getting started.
Exactly.
And the thing is, I mean, Magic's going to be the same within the next like 3 to 6 months. Like, anyone who's watching this who wants to make Magic content, like, do it. Just get out there and do it. It's my first bit of advice. But be wary that YouTube is getting worse and worse. Like we were talking about this earlier, weren't we? It's getting worse and worse for actually recommending people to the correct place.
Right.
So like, I'm very lucky that because of the watch time of my videos and how I fit with what YouTube wanted at a certain point in time, I started to show up in recommended bars and front pages. I had people screenshotting YouTube who weren't subbed to me, they just knew me in real life. Who watch a bit of Magic content, and they were sending me screenshots going, Vince, you're on my front page and stuff. I was like, oh, wicked, so that's good.
Yeah.
But now we're hearing that even when you're subbed to someone, you're not necessarily getting a chronological order of what people have submitted in the subscription boxes, because YouTube is moderating and using algorithms to try and decide what you might want to see or what you should see. Right. So we're getting to the point that eventually when they go, oh, you know what, because of ad revenue, because we've seen recently, swearing is an absolute no-go. I will be removed from everyone, not only from their recommended and their front pages and everything, I will probably disappear from subscription boxes, which is the place where you tell YouTube what you want. Right. So it's a very scary time to be like, I'm trying to gear this into like trying to make a career out of this, because I would love to do this full time. I don't at the moment, but I would love to. And then there's that thought that actually, eventually, I'm going to have like Twitter and Patreon and things like that will funnel people to my videos because YouTube is a law unto itself, and it doesn't explain anything to anyone and doesn't give you the support. Their support is awful. Right. YouTube support is awful. So as much as I love YouTube and I have a lot to thank it for, it is a mess, isn't it? And it's scary if you want to keep like using the platform. So eventually maybe there will be a competitor, right? One day. It can't go on forever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've had like, I've talked to like other people that have done content, and they're just like, one day we'll have a competitor, but that was like 5 years ago. You know, it's like, I don't know.
Well, I always use the MySpace thing. Like MySpace happened, then it died, then Facebook took over. But then is Facebook now so ubiquitous and so like part of everyone's life that it's never going anywhere? Like, I mean, the CEO of Facebook is being interviewed by like the European Parliament about his input into their like elections and stuff. So is Facebook now just always going to be there? There's no competitor to that, and is YouTube in the same state? Right. Or is Twitch the next one? When Twitch starts monetizing recorded playbacks and giving you uploads and stuff, does everyone en masse, does Boogie, does PewDiePie, all the big million people, just the millions of people, just mass migrate to make a point that YouTube haven't looked after people? All they look after is the Logan Pauls.
Right. I think to me it's like, this is super sidebar, not MTG related at all, but it's
related to what we do, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's our day-to-day thing. I think it's like so with Twitch, because Twitch is owned by Amazon right now. So I feel like if Twitch goes into the direction of how YouTube is trying to do, I feel like they have a huge legal battle over fair use to like, you know, go through. Because right now, like if you play like copyrighted music on Twitch, they just mute your channel or mute those sections of your channel. Yeah. Which is really, really smart and a good way to get around that. And I feel like if they just maintained that kind of like content awareness, where they, you know, whenever a new thing comes on, if it's like content claimed or whatever, or like, you know how like on YouTube if it gets content claimed, you get a strike, and after 3 you're just gone, you know. So I think if Twitch kind of figured out a way where people could still use like content that's, you know, using different things, and you know.
So you mean licensed music? You reckon if Twitch could somehow get an agreement to be able to allow licensed music from, let's say Spotify? Let's say Spotify. Yeah. Who is Spotify owned by?
I want to say,
don't know, because imagine if Spotify and Twitch like combined, right? Imagine all combined, or struck a deal that anything that is currently on Spotify could be used in the background of a live stream, but not necessarily of a recorded video. And so I don't even know how that deal would work. Probably billions of pounds, right? Sure. Then that could be a massive boost to Twitch. But is it big enough to, you know, topple the giant that is YouTube? And still they're still providing two different services, because obviously YouTube's always trying to get in on Twitch's streaming size with the YouTube streaming. Yeah, you've moved to Twitch, I've moved to Twitch. Like, they're never going to, because they don't give enough support. Twitch support is already infinitely better because it exists.
Yeah, it exists.
Because so yeah, that is interesting. If they could tap that niche, because at the moment, people love. I did a stream the other night where I actually played recorded music and said this is not going to be a VOD on YouTube, and people loved it. People were just donating money to play the songs they wanted to listen to. It was a real cool hangout. So I'd love to do that more often, but of course I can't because I want the VODs for YouTube because it's free content and I need to keep the content going because otherwise YouTube will forget me.
Yeah, gotta get that train still going down the track.
Yeah, it's a grind, guys. If anyone's watching this and thinks it's easy, it isn't.
Right.
All right? I would have sworn then. I would have said it isn't. But I can't say the swear word. But it isn't, kids, all right? It's a grind. Yeah, it is hard.
That's, I mean, I guess to date this again, I was talking with Dev from Strictly Better, MTG, and we were talking about how, like, we spend just basically our entire lives, like, in our offices, just, like, editing, you know, and writing.
So, yeah, so this room is becoming, like, such a key part of my life and stuff, and like, I don't play, I play video games. So the God of War was, like, an exception. I bought it, and I said, you know, I'm going to put aside time to play this. And I bought, like, the new Pokemon as well, thinking I had some time away from home, but I didn't in the end. And then I hadn't finished God of War, because I'm back to this. After the GP, I had a week of being tired, and now I'm back to... Either I work my day job, or I get home and I boost up on Magic social media and start making videos. Right. And yeah, like before the GP, I put out like a video a day for like 5 days, and that was so hard. So yeah, people don't realize how hard it actually is. Because everyone wants to be a YouTuber, right? Like my nephew, he's like, oh, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And he's got like 17 subscribers, bless him, and he's like 9, and he's constantly posting videos that are like. He's just trying to be Jake Paul, basically. Sure. Like, hey, what's up, and dabbing and stuff. And then when he hears how many subs I've got, like his mouth is agape. But then he has a weird thing where he's like, well, that's not as many as Jake Paul. I'm like, yeah, because it's a very different thing.
Right.
So all these kids are coming up now who they want it, but do they want to do it because they enjoy making content, or do they want to do it because of the fame?
Right.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting.
Sure,
it's not as easy as people think it is.
Yeah.
It's not as easy
I think especially too in the niche like Magic, it's like. One, it has to be like content that you create that has to be interesting and unique, but also like it has to be a niche within a niche because it's like, do you want to do lore? Do you want to do deck text? Do you want to do like comedy? Do you want to do like tutorials and informative? Like right now, like I'm on the MTGO Traders channel. I'm trying to make sure that we kind of have like a mix of everything because like I've been doing like five videos a week for like about 2 months now, which is really good for me as far as like keeping on track. Yeah. And I'm finally like this last week, I was like,
it's impressive.
Let me try and do a video every single day if I can possibly do that, and like try and put in like news videos and finance videos and like evergreens content like how to play Magic like yesterday. So it's just something like I'm always trying to push on the platform and try to like bring more to the subscribers to be like this is a real place you can kind of have like a one-stop shop.
But you'll get to a point, I guess, especially with your channel, where like you're doing it for Heath and traders as well and stuff. You'll have to have more staff. I keep thinking about this. You get to a point where I always thought, as I gear up and I'll be able to drop days at my work and Patreon and the ad revenue supports me and stuff, I'll be able to make more and more content. But you'll get to a point where I can't make any more content than I physically can at the moment. Right. And then, I physically can at the moment while being healthy with my lifestyle and stuff. At that point, like, do you get someone else on? Do you become a team? And you have to expand from there because you can't do it all yourself. And I guess you might experience that. If you're trying to do a video every day, like, perhaps you need someone... Well, you do have, what's his name? Oh, it's blanking. For finance.
Chaz.
Chaz. And he makes those, but they're quite popular. And people like that sort of stuff. So you are doing that already.
Yeah, he definitely helps. Well, for that, he records all that, and then I'm the one who edits that, and then puts it on the channel.
Oh, okay.
So I still have to edit.
That gives more workload for you. Yeah, exactly.
So,
but
I mean, I guess I work...
It's part of the job, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I work like 6 days out of the week. I have like 1 day off a week, So
yeah.
But it's just kind of part of it if you want to make sure you're on that grind. And like I would say more so than like the Magic content itself, it's the development of like the deck building, the brewing, and also like just sharing the content itself takes a huge chunk of your week.
Oh yeah, so like Rob, my co-host on my stream, he's all in social media and stuff, and he's helped me before to start get some automated stuff going when I had the 24-hour charity stream last year. So every hour I'd tweet out and stuff, but that doesn't work when I like to have a very personal touch. So I don't want to have the same tweet go out. If you see what I mean, I like to spice things up and be playful. That's one of the things that bugs me about YouTube is that I have to put my titles in a way that I think will hit SEO and analytics and stuff. And in reality, I want to make artsy, sort of silly, artsy, I don't know the right term, but silly titles or titles that sound like song names. All my best friends are metalheads, brackets, it's okay, that sort of stuff, All my friends are dredge players, that sort of stuff. But I can't because that is not what people are searching for.
Right.
So even then, like some of your creativity and some of the, because that's what it's meant to be for me, is a creative outlet. It was what it was originally meant to be. It starts to be stifled a little bit because you're trying to search for those viewers and stuff. It's It's a weird old game.
Oh, for
the whole
sure,
YouTube content thing. And it is a grind.
Right. That was a rabbit hole.
Yeah, it was.
Sorry about that.
Someone somewhere. But I mean, I guess as well. Like people are always asking me, I'm starting up Twitch, I'm starting up YouTube. what should I do? And I think like a video like this in some ways helps because we broach on some of the topics that people need to be aware of.
Absolutely.
They're not really aware of it until they make it their fifth, sixth video and they're like, wow, this just took a lot of time and energy.
Right.
And at first you won't get any views as well. My first video got 200 views.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And my next video got like 12. And I was like, oh, it's not as easy as I thought it was with the first one.
I mean, whenever this is I guess recently for us still, but it's like whenever we break that 1,000 view mark on like a video, I'm like, okay, this one did well.
Yeah, it can be like that, can't it?
But then like I'll come back to that video a week later and it's like, oh, it's got 10,000 views. Very, very, oh, that's awesome. But it's like it just takes time, you know, it's just building that
and then I guess before we move on from this tangent, there is also the psychological element of when I'm not doing YouTube stuff, if I'm taking time to sit down and play God of War or go out for a meal with my wife, I feel a bit guilty because I'm not working on the dream of being full time at this. And that has a psychological toll. But then, when you make a video that you're very proud of, and it doesn't do as well as you expect, or even within the expectations of what you've done previously, like if I do a gameplay video now, because I've had 20s and 50s and 60,000 of views in some of them, when one only gets like 12, I'm like, well, I'm happy it got 12, but I feel like I put a lot of time and effort into that. I thought it was really good. Why aren't people watching it? And then you have that like, am I doing well? Am I doing the right thing? And you start to doubt yourself, and it takes a psychological toll as well. So guys, there should be a union for us. There should be a union that deals with the YouTube rubbish and also helps us in terms of how we feel emotionally.
I do think as far as like with MTG, you know, WotC's starting to do the YouTube like kind of not I guess not creators program, but like the arena creators program.
Well, they are. You just said it. Arena.
Yeah.
Arena. If I'm going to make some arena content, I am. I do like the UI and the visuals and stuff of it. But again, I play Modern and Legacy and Cube and EDH. Yeah. And none of those things are supported. And I feel like if I don't make arena content, Wizards will leave me behind. And that's really sad. Because there's so many of us that have been making content for like years now who may not want to make that switch to arena, who want to make the content they're making now. And WotC aren't necessarily... Well, they are. WotC are throwing me bones, even in spite of my edginess and my naughty words that I say. So I can't slight them for that.
Sure.
But it is scary that they're just like, oh, yeah, we'll support you for arena. But that big program that makes us loads of money, that has all the formats on it, that everyone loves playing, let's not throw your bone there.
It's not the new hotness, right?
No, exactly. But I guess they're a business. They need the new hotness and thing they've invested in recently to do well.
For sure.
There is that. But yeah, they are doing something. They are helping.
Yeah, I think definitely in the future. I think it's just like they need to build up and kind of like, you know, just kind of talk to more of the creators and just once they get into the program, I think they'll realize, you know, there's a lot of people that are still out there like that are still using Magic Online or that are talking about Magic, but not necessarily like in the way that they expect it. Like, you know, Ristic Studies or Magic Man Sam or however you want to know his name.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Like his stuff is super artsy and like more like video essays on Magic the Gathering, and those videos are amazing, but they're so different than like the typical deck tech video or like arena video or whatever. So it's just, you know, there's a bunch of different stuff doing, you know, different things.
He's a prime example of a creative person who was doing this. He influenced me a lot on getting into Magic. When he made all his stuff is privatised now, so a lot of people won't be able to see his old videos. He did like almost a sketch series where he opened a pack of Modern Masters per one, did like a story around it, and had like CGI in it and stuff. And they weren't perfect, but they were great in terms of being different.
Right.
And that Sam is probably almost single-handedly the guy that made me think, you know what, I can do something different. I can't do the CGI editing that he's doing. I'm not an actor. I can't do the art stuff that he's doing, but I can bring my personality to work, as it were. So he is an example of someone who has gone out there and done something very different, and it's worked for him, and it's brought a lot of like good stuff to a lot of people and brought the whole new thing. So he's a good example of where he has found his niche and found a new angle instead of just making the same gameplay video and talking over it like everyone does, you know.
Right, exactly.
Box openings are often very unexciting, aren't they?
Right. Yeah.
Here's my packs. I've opened them. Here's my rares. Bye bye.
I put a poll on my Twitch or my Twitter, and I was like, "What do you guys think about box openings?" And like everyone's like, "No."
Yeah, he's like, I throw out the occasional thing with like a fancy booster.
Right.
Or if I film a lot of packs I open, if there's something exciting in it, I'll post that one, and not any of them. But when people so it's okay as filler content or side content. And don't get me wrong, I sometimes sit with a box opening video on my monitor while I'm playing League of Legends or whatever. But they are often very unexciting and uninspired, shall we say? Sure.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this interview. That was a big tangent at the very end there. But, you know, I feel like we talked about a lot of stuff right there about MTG, you know, content creation. Because, like, the next, like, kind of question was any advice for people starting, like, with YouTube or starting with MTG. And I think we covered all that pretty effectively there.
Yeah, exactly. I think all of it was relevant. I think we covered a lot of stuff, but it all fits within the bubble.
For sure.
We haven't talked about, like, world politics or, like, what you had for breakfast. So
that's right. I've had nothing for
breakfast. What did you have for breakfast?
Nothing.
Nothing? thing.
Yeah.
Terran, after this video, I as a mothering figure for you, please go and eat something.
Sure, I'll try.
You'll try. Oh dear.
Goodness. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Is there anywhere else? I guess we should do the whole, like, the plug spots. Where can people find you online?
Yes, okay, so I have a YouTube channel, which should be linked in the description below, Pleasant Kenobi. I mean, I'm quite linked to you guys already, so I've streamed on the channel, so hopefully some of the people know me. If you're fresh and new to this, Pleasant Kenobi is my YouTube channel. I make one big gameplay video every week, and I make other lots of bits of weird stuff and memes and highlights of streams. I stream every Monday night at 7 PM BST on Twitch. I stream Legacy, Modern, Cube, Draft. I might even play some Stand at some point. Twitch, Twitter, Pleasant Kenobi, Instagram, Pleasant Kenobi, Facebook page, Pleasant Kenobi. Basically, any social media you can find me is Pleasant Kenobi. But come watch my videos. I'll have a video coming out tomorrow, which is called DonaldTrump.deck. I won't explain anything more. There you go. There's some world politics for you.
That's going to tilt some people right there.
But I mentioned earlier what it was. But yeah, I'm expecting some very hot... I get a lot of comments saying, don't get political. I'm not getting political. I'm just making silly jokes that happen to have politicians in them. So there you go. But yeah, come subscribe. Don't forget to check me out.
I got you. Awesome. Well, I'm just going to close out this video. Like the video, of course, if you liked it. Comment below on another guest you guys want on the channel as well. And yeah, subscribe to Pleasant Kenobi. Subscribe to MTGO Traders. And that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Thanks for having me. Bye.